Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The Big D is back as we preview Week 5 Colts-Jags on the Big D podcast. Before we bring in the first and 56th group, please try like and share the Spunky Spectrum Sports YouTube page where it's football season, baby. So hopefully we're done with Hurricanes. Also check out the Big D podcast for the audio listeners, Spotify and Apple. So join me. We have the first and 56 crew. At the top right, we have Rondo, and the bottom, we have Anthony. So, gentlemen, welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having us on. I've been trying to coordinate this last season, didn't work out. So finally, got things together and let's get into it.
Yep, really excited. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, I try and get guests from like every team we play. I mean, whether it be the Dolphins, the Bills, the Colts this week. So week 5. So this week, week 5 matchup between your Colts and my Jaguars. So thinking back to last Sunday, the Colts got a important W against the Steelers, 27-24, but not without a few injuries, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, our franchise quarterback ended up going down. Obviously, Flacco had to come play some mock-up duty. But at least, first thing first, we got the W. That's more than anything. We kind of needed it, especially the way the season started for us. So getting us back to 500 ball was amazing, especially coming into this week. Because, we're headed into a game right now in Jacksonville where we haven't won a game in Jacksonville in 10 years. So, hopefully Richardson is the key to breaking that curse. But, yeah, like I said, a win's a win. So far, a couple of limited practices for Richardson, so he should be on track to play this Sunday. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, and Anthony, AL-15 wasn't the only hurt Colt. Jonathan Taylor also suffered a high ankle sprain again.
Yeah, it was suspected to be a high ankle sprain. Turned out to be a mild one. Excuse me. So. It's looking like he's going to go on Sunday. Richardson, we don't know yet, but obviously Jonathan Taylor is a big blow to your football team. I think if the Colts want to win this game, they got to be hitting on all cylinders. The House of Horror, which is Jacksonville, Florida, is not a place where we play well. So, if Jonathan Taylor's out, I'm picking against the Colts. Regardless if he plays or not, I'm picking against the Colts. Just because this is just not a place where we win. But it's hard to say what he's going to do, if he's going to go or not. Personally, if it's worse than expected, I would just say don't go because it's not like we're going to win this game anyway. To be honest.
Yeah, it was weird seeing Joe Flacco. Like, the Colts went from one of the most athletic quarterbacks to like the least athletic quarterback, but Flacco made some big throws. I'm sure the wide receivers like a more competent quarterback throwing them the ball. Pittman went over 100 yards. Josh Downs got a touchdown. But I think Colt fans want to see a fully healthy Anthony Richardson this weekend, right?
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, because you draft the guy number 4 in the draft, obviously. So when you take that guy, when we take him that high, you expect him to be the franchise quarterback for years to come. So obviously, we dealt with the last year of him going down early, only getting in 4 games, and slightly this year, obviously he went down the last game. You want to see that guy suiting up, 15 times at the minimum. So obviously him getting hurt last week is not ideal. But you're absolutely right. That's who we want to see out there. If he can go, he better go because, again, he was drafted and he's supposed to be the franchise.
Anthony?
Yeah, I agree. You want to see him fully healthy. So, personally, I don't know if you rush him back. I know he wants to be out there, and I know it was just a hip pointer, but it was worse enough. The injury was worse enough for him not to come back in the game on Sunday. So I think that you don't really rush him. Flacco's a competent guy. But once again, the House of Horror, it's not like we were going to win this game anyways. So come back next week, back to normal, fully healthy. But I think Anthony Richardson's injury concerns are definitely real.
Yeah, especially with his injuries from last year, having a concussion and the shoulder injury, which ultimately ended his season.
Yeah. I mean, it's always something, to be honest. I was there at the game in person on Sunday, and watching your guy go down, like, that's heartbreaking. So I don't want to see that again.
Yeah, especially if you're in like fantasy, redraft, whatever league, best ball, whatever league, like you don't want to see these studs getting hurt.
Yeah, it definitely hurts our fantasy teams as well.
Hey, the good news for your Colts is at least you've got a couple wins because there's one team with a goose egg in the win column, and you can guess whose team that is.
Well, they're getting one this Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. That actually scares me, the fact that they haven't won, because now, right, they, like Gulick said, you got this gimme game where we haven't won in Jacksonville in 10 years. So just like we've been won in week 1 in 11 years, it's another curse, probably bound to rear its head again. I think, like I said jokingly on our podcast, that maybe Richardson is the key to breaking the curse. But like I said, if I'm picking and if I were the type to bet, like, in the game involving my team, I would take Jacksonville all day, every day.
Yeah. In terms of betting too, I mean, this is going to be such a gimme game for bettors. I mean, I suspect a lot of people are going to be picking the Colts just because the Jacksonville Jaguars haven't won yet. But, I'm big on history. We haven't won in 10 years. That's just not a game the Colts are going to win. I mean, I'm just trying to be realistic here. I get excited every year. Like, I was excited the Phillip Rivers year, and the Jags had, like, I think, like, probably one of the worst teams in the league that year. That was their only win, and then they lost out. Like, that's just how the NFL works. They just can't lose to the Colts at home, no matter how bad they are. They could have, I don't even know, Nathan Peterman, or they could have a position player playing quarterback, and they'll still beat us. So
yeah, as you guys found out in week 1, nobody can stop Nico Collins. The Texans beat my Jags 24-20. Break my heart, put us in tears, and probably wrap up the AFC South. Okay, I'm kidding. It's not even week 5 yet, but oh boy, welcome to the AFC South, where it seems like chaos can always erupt. So I'm heading into this game. Obviously, the health of your quarterback and running back will be the key. But what the heck is going on with my Jags? Like, I cannot figure this out. Like, is it Doug Peterson? Like, has Trevor forgotten how to play quarterback? What is going on?
I think the Doug Peterson, the Doug Peterson excuse is the lazy excuse. Doug Peterson's a good coach in this league. I just think what it is that Trevor Lawrence is finally getting shown that, because everyone wanted to crown him as the next golden child, and I just think they overhyped him way too much. Personally, like I said, I don't think Gardner Minshew even lost his job back when you guys had him, before you guys drafted Trevor Lawrence in the first place. But I mean, if you want to look at it, I don't know what it is exactly, but maybe you should have done the right offensive pieces or something. I'm not sure, but I think you guys paid Trevor Lawrence way too early. I think that's definitely part of it. I think you guys probably should have waited out on that one. Obviously, I think Urban Meyer definitely set him back a little bit, but I think you're more so trying to erase the damage that Urban Meyer did and create a new culture, and that's leading to it. And you're kind of going through like the growing pains of like rebuilding that.
And I mean, yeah, I agree. I mean, Jacksonville, I thought looked decent week 1. I thought they were going to beat Miami, and then the collapse happened. I mean, I'm thinking positives on the year. I mean, I think Brian Thomas, the rookie from LSU, I mean, he's been really good. I mean, you just can't go wrong with a receiver from LSU. It's just like, guys from Alabama at this point. I mean, they just produce receivers, so you can't go wrong with that. He's been very good, I think. Josh Allen is Josh Allen. He's going to do his thing. And then ETN, I think, is a good running back. But, this is just not something that I don't think anyone really saw. Even if, Trevor Lawrence had a drop-off, I haven't really watched too much of the film yet. Even if he had a little bit of a drop-off, I don't think you really expect the Jaguars to go 0-4. So it's just a really surprising outcome, and I know that they've had some injuries, like Evan Ingram's been hurt, and there's been some other injuries to the Jaguars, but I just didn't really expect this 0-4 start, to be honest. Like I said, I thought they had Miami beat until that last second field goal. So I don't know. It's hard to say. And the season's definitely not over yet. We've seen the Colts start 1-5, and then they finished 10-6. So Trevor Lawrence is a good quarterback. I don't think he's a bad quarterback. He's got room to improve, but I still think he's a good quarterback. So it's hard to say what's going wrong. I think it's a combination of everything, but I think things will have to gel over time, and then this could be the win that kickstarts their season.
There's way too much. Yeah, I'm thinking there's way too much talent in this Jaguar team for it to totally, right?
Yeah, I agree.
And then with the Colts, honestly, I thought Anthony Richardson possessed all kinds of ability. I mean, maybe the team's drafted him because of his combine workup when he looked like 6'4", 240, running 4.4, throwing the ball from Indy to Jacksonville, but I've not seen the same progression like other quarterbacks. Have you guys been disappointed with what AR-15's done in year 2?
Not at all. And I mean, and the progression with him, it's deeper than a stat sheet. If you just stat sheet watch, then you're not necessarily seeing a growth. But if you watch the All 22, and more importantly, watch his footwork, because his footwork was the biggest thing coming into his draft year. What he said he needed to work on, it was the biggest thing that they said kind of in practices of what needed to improve to get him better. And even obviously, I understand he only took like 5 dropbacks in the game before he got injured. But you watch those 4 passes, those 4 dropbacks compared to week 1, and you can see a difference. So is it going to lead to results? We'll get that answer to that question. Weeks 12, 13, 14. But in terms of the progression of how he's gone so far, Steichen's obviously the perfect coach for him. When you saw what he did to Jalen Hurts, and look how Jalen Hurts is struggling now without Steichen. So I think that tells you just how much we trust his coaching staff. But in terms of the actual, on paper results for Richardson, there's going to be some growing pains, and as Colts fans, we're not used to that. We're used to our quarterback kind of being stable. But obviously, people expecting him to come in and be Andrew Luck. You're not going to get that. Andrew Luck was one of the better, prospects we've had in the NFL, probably since Manning, since all these top quarterbacks you can think of in the past. Richardson was a project. We all knew he was going to be a project, but you drafted him for his physical things you can't teach, like you mentioned, the arm, the speed. You can't teach that. That's natural, but you can teach accuracy. That can always be improved, and we're going to get that. We got to be patient about it, but we'll get there.
Yeah, and I'm on the same page. I do believe you do have to hold him accountable as well. So some of the mistakes he's made have been kind of boneheaded. But the kid needs experience, man. I mean, you get casual NFL fans too who are just like, man, Richardson's got to sit, let him learn behind Flacco. Like, that's just wrong. It's not true. The kid started 20 games since high school, 21 now since he started against the Steelers, 21 games since high school. You compare that to a guy like Will Levis, who's struggling more than Anthony Richardson right now. Will Levis has started over 64 games since high school.
And still can't complete a pass to a tight end.
Exactly. And it's the same with Justin Fields. People are saying, well, Justin Fields is playing how people want Anthony Richardson to play. Well, guess what? He started 2 years at Ohio State, and he had, 3 years with the Bears? Like, he's got experience. This kid has no experience. You got to let him learn, man, which is why, also I was a big hater of the Bryce Young benching in Carolina, because who knows? Are you a little better than? I mean, is Andy Dalton, going to make the Panthers a little better right now? Yeah. Were they going to go win the Super Bowl anyway?
No.
So you got to let the kid play. If Flacco plays out the year, what do you think we do, Rondo? 11-6 and a first round exit? I mean, it's not anything crazy. So just let Richardson play. Like, you got to let him play. Got to let him get some nice play under his belt, and you really take this year with a grain of salt. And plus, too, Josh Allen, I'm not saying he's going to be Josh Allen, but Anthony Richardson's stats, along with Josh Allen's stats, are identical after the same amount of starts. And Josh Allen didn't really become an accurate passer until year 2. Year 1, he struggled just like this, and people said you got to be patient. It's the same thing. The only reason why Anthony Richardson is being held to a higher standard is because the Colts have a well-built team. They have a good receiving core. They have good running backs, good offensive line, good defense. So that's why he's being held under a close light. But that makes it even more scary when Anthony Richardson does become that guy next year, which I think everybody thinks he can be. You go from, thinking lottery team to Super Bowl team. That's what it was from Lamar year 1 to year 2. He started that last chunk of the year, and then year 2 comes in, he wins the MVP, and then you start thinking Super Bowl. Obviously, they flopped, but you start thinking Super Bowl aspirations. So Rome wasn't built overnight. So I'm just thinking you just got to let him play, let him ride it out.
Yeah, like even just to piggyback off of that, okay, you let's say you establish Flacco as a start for this season. We know it's not going to happen. It's like, then what? You're going backwards. It's basically like last year all over again with Gardner Minshew. We knew Gardner Minshew he was brought in to be the backup and be the mentor, if you will, but it's Richardson's team. He's supposed to be the guy. And to your point, with Carolina, same thing. It's just like, okay, you bench Bryce Young, but it's like, but then what? How does that help? You're not winning Super Bowl. You drafted the kid number 1. Let him play. Let him learn. Let him get better. It's growing pains. Obviously, when you're drafting at the top of the draft, it means you were terrible. You're not going into a situation where it's, okay, yeah, insert you, now we win. Are there exceptions to that rule? Sure. Like, again, the year we drafted Andrew Luck, obviously it was a fluke year because we were a 14-win team missing Peyton Manning. But not every team drafting at the top is it sitting in a situation to where it's, yeah, we're already set for a quarterback, just, and you get the guy and boom, go off the gun and running. And again, with Richardson, you knew he's going to be a project. We knew there's going to be growing pains, and we knew the patience was going to come with it. But like nobody, at least no one who's not delusional, was expecting him to come in and then, start competing for MVPs. Nobody does that.
Yeah, and it seems like nobody's got patience anymore. I mean, we saw the Panthers bench Bryce Young. It seems like everybody's saying Caleb Williams sucks. The Bears should have taken Jane Daniels. Relax. You know what? The Bears don't have the right coach. And guess how many 4,000-yard passes the Bears have? 0. Some teams can't get quarterback. The Green Bay Packers go from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers and now Jordan Love. The Packers always get quarterback. The Pittsburgh Steelers always get pass rusher. The Indianapolis Colts went from Peyton Manning to Andrew Luck. Some teams can't get the quarterback.
Yeah. It's not that some teams just can't get the quarterback. Sometimes you have to look at the environment also. I mean, look at Cleveland. I thought Baker was the guy in Cleveland. They let him go for Deshaun Watson, who should have been the guy, and Deshaun Watson is flubbing it up while Baker's killing it in Tampa Bay. So, I mean, part of it's right. It is the team, but it's also its location. It's kind of the culture over there.
Yeah, I mean, we're also seeing it with Sam Darnold right now as well. I mean, he's playing great football. And, I think their coach said it greatly. He said basically organizations fail young quarterbacks before young quarterbacks fail organizations. And
I mean, I thought Sam should have been the 101 in 2018. I think he would have done well in Cleveland, but, he went to the wrong team, and, he never got a chance to show himself in New York or Carolina. Then he in San Francisco, he learned from a great offensive mind and Kyle Shanahan, played the last week, and all of a sudden, with a really good offensive mind, I don't know where you guys have Justin Jefferson, but that guy's really good. That guy's really good. Yeah. Justin Jefferson's probably the best route runner in the NFL. Jordan Addison's more than an adequate number 2. Aaron Jones is a really good running back. And Darren Shaw's probably one of not the best, and not the second best left tackle to Williams and to Trent in San Francisco.
Yeah, I agree.
But you mentioned something about the Colt receivers. Do the Colts have a true number one? I know Pittman's a really good route runner, but is he? I don't know if I would put Pittman as the number one. Like, is Michael Pittman, Jamal Chase, Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra? No, I feel like he's in that top. He's maybe in the group of like Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle. Who's the trying to think of? Maybe more of that Brandon Ayuk camp.
Okay, here we go again. I got to defend Pittman. Michael Pittman Jr. is a receiver one in this league. Is he a top dog? No. Look, like I'll be real. I'm not obviously, Justin, like you said, Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, Chase, even AJ Brown in there. Is he competing with those guys? Sure, no. He's not. But when you want to talk like kind of like those tier two of number one guys, so the DJ Moores, the Olaves, Drake London. Point being is that look, Pittman's not a top 5 receiver in this league. He's in that top 10 group. I don't care, argue with anyone. He's right in that 8, 9, 10 rank, kind of with DK Metcalf. That's kind of around where I range him. DK Metcalf, Terry McLaurin, Pittman, they all kind of run in that same circle. Pittman's never going to lead the league in receiving. I understand that. He nearly led the league in receptions. He's never going to lead in yards. He might not even lead in touchdowns. But if you want to talk about a bona fide number one who can be a number one starter on most teams, Pittman is absolutely a receiver one on about half the teams in this league. There's a small group of individuals that you rank over him. But as you start kind of thinking about it, Pittman is right there with the top 10 when it comes to the league.
Wait a minute. Wait, top 10. So how many guys would you have ranked in front of Pittman?
All right, let's see. Jefferson for sure, CeeDee Lamb, Chase, AJ Brown, Tyreek. See, then once you get right there, that's like around where Pittman falls. Because I think DJ Moore, DK, Terry McLaurin, they all kind of fall in that circle there.
Wait a minute. What about Nico?
Nico's in that circle.
Nico's better than Pittman.
Well, I'll say this though. Wait. We're gonna slow this down, okay? What did Nico Collins do without a quarterback? He did nothing. What did Michael Pittman do with shit quarterbacks in Indy? He put up numbers, 1,000 yards every year.
Of course, I forgot Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams above Pittman, sure.
Oh yeah, for sure,
100%,
for sure.
Yeah.
But Nico.
So I named 6, right? So like I said, that 7 to 10 range is where Pittman is.
Yeah, like I mean, I don't know if I would go that high, but like the Nico Collins like argument is big to me. I mean, he's been putting up good numbers lately, but like what's gonna happen if CJ Stroud gets hurt? What happens if CJ Stroud gets fucking pile drived into the ground and he's out the rest of the year? Nico Collins is not doing anything.
Well, Houston's offensive
putting up numbers. What did Nico Collins do with Davis Mills? Nothing. but what did Michael Pittman do with Nick Foles and Matt Ryan? 1,000 yards.
Sam Ellinger.
What did Michael Pittman do with Gardner freaking Minshew? 1,000 yards.
Like had his best season with Minshew.
Yeah, exactly. And like the craziest thing is he's a guy that just comes through. Like he might not have the big numbers, but he's gonna have close to 100 receptions every year. So he's a guy, he might not have 150 yards like CeeDee Lamb or Tyreek Hill, but he's a guy that's going to go 7 for 75, 8 for 80, 9 for 90, 10 for 100. That's what he did last week against Pittsburgh, 10 for 100. And everybody said, oh, Michael Pittman's a sit of the week against the mighty Pittsburgh Steelers. And then he went out and had over 100 yards and over 10 receptions. You know what I mean? Like, and plus I saw it last year in front of me. Against Jacksonville last year, first game, he takes the pass on 2nd and 28 against Jacksonville, and he took it to the house. Nobody was catching his ass. That's what I'm saying. Like, and like the crazy thing is too, we saw it in real time. Michael Pittman got that big hit against the Steelers last year. He had a concussion, and he had to sit out that next game in Atlanta. Nobody did anything in Atlanta that next week.
Yeah.
It was Josh Downs, like Mo Alley Cox. I don't even remember who was playing receiver because A.D. Mitchell wasn't there yet.
I believe it was Pierce Campbell and
not exactly Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, and Dallas Clark.
Not exactly. I wouldn't have Pittman though, like right in the top 10 because there's probably some names that we're forgetting. But I agree, he's in that same tier as like DK Metcalf, Terry McLaurin, Nico Collins. I don't know. I'm probably forgetting some names, so I'm not gonna like discredit everybody else. But he definitely deserves to be in that conversation. And we've seen though. I mean, like I hate to hate on Richardson again, but Richardson played terrible the first 3 weeks, and by golly, what happened? He didn't get that many receptions. But you put Flacco in there, who's more of a pocket passer. What happened? He went off.
The receiver ate.
Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy to see what happens, and he also just makes great catches. I mean, against Baltimore last year, they threw a deep ball up to him, and he caught the ball in midair when the 2 DBs like hit the helmet off his head. Like he's just a tough dude. He's a really tough dude, and like I said, he's not gonna have like these splash 50-yard bombs. But he's always going to come through and move the chains. Like on third down, I mean, I think he had the highest target rate in the league last year on third down. Why? Because he comes through on third down. So that's my spiel for Pittman. I mean, there's probably some names, like I said, I'm forgetting. But, like people are saying like George Pickens is better than him. Like that's disrespectful, man. I watched that dude fumble like right near the end zone and threw the ball backwards. Like, I don't know, man.
Does George Pickens have a fumbling issue against Indianapolis or what? I think that's 2 years in a row he's done it.
2 years in a row. Fine with me. He can keep doing it.
Unless you use Justin Fields or Pickens in fantasy, then everyone's not.
That's true.
But do the Colts have a top tight end? Because I mean, it seems like, I don't know what it is, but the tight end position this year has been garbage.
Yes, but he's hurt.
The tight end position has been garbage in Indy ever since Jack Doyle retired. I mean, so the guy that me and Gulick thought was going to kind of take a stranglehold of that, Jelani Woods, he has been injured. Obviously, you got a small piece of him a year ago, and then he's been out for indefinitely. So you got a revolving door there now. Which I've made the joke that we should go call Atlanta about Kyle Pitts, but I mean it's starting to get less and less of a joke as the weeks go by.
Yeah.
And what is with the tight end position this year? Like if you draft an early tight end, which I tried to do on all my teams, you have literally just drafted nobody. I mean, Mark Andrews hasn't caught a pass in a couple of weeks. Trader Bride's in concussion protocol. Travis Kelce spending more time with Taylor Swift and catching passes.
Yeah, tight ends are really bad. I don't even know who to go with myself.
Yeah, I think I ran Gesicki last week.
Yeah,
I ran Gesicki the last 2 weeks. I have Cade Otton in right now, but I mean, yeah, it's tight end's a mess.
Yeah, they're none of them.
Taysom Hill.
Yeah, that's another one.
He's done.
Yeah, he's done too now. But yeah, last year I kind of lucked out with Laporta in the late rounds. He panned out, but now people are drafting him early, and he's not doing anything now. So
yeah. I think I literally ran Taysom Hill last year, the entire season, actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I drafted Trey McBride in both my big money leagues, and of course couldn't play him last week. So I played Zach Ertz as my tight end.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Do what you got to do.
At least I can play McBride this week.
Yeah. Hopefully he turns.
Although my guillotine league, Jalen Hurts is on bye, so I have picked up Burrow. Now I'm scared that the Ravens are going to make mincemeat out of him. So heading to this week, obviously, they're all haunted houses around the NFL. Tom Brady in Denver. Peyton Manning in Foxborough. Aaron Rodgers in Santa Clara. Russell Wilson away from Pete Carroll in Seattle. The Colts haven't won since September 20. Since what? Week 3 of the 2014 season, where Andrew Luck led the Colts to a 44-17 thrashing of the Jets. Why have the Colts lost 9 straight games in Duval County?
It's too hot. That's why.
Yeah, it's really no explanation. It's the same question we've been asking them to why we can't just win in week 1. Like, so I mean, we haven't won in week 1 in 11 years. We haven't won in Jacksonville in 10 years. So it's never ending. And it clearly don't matter who's under center because we've had a lot of great quarterbacks do it, and no one can win.
Yeah, doesn't matter. I mean, it's just one of those things that you'll never be able to figure out. You'll never be able to figure out. And as long as they're playing in Jacksonville, I'm going to take the Jaguars. I mean, it's as simple as that. I mean, it's just one game per year that you just know it's a guaranteed loss. And we've kind of been saying that for the last 3 years now, 4 years now. I mean, when you're making your picks, I mean, it's real easy to just take the easy bet and just go with the Jaguars. I mean, the line, I think, let me look at the line this week. I mean, so the Colts are
Jags are -3, I believe.
Yeah, the Colts are the Colts are what? The Colts are plus 124, and people are gonna be like, "Oh my god, that's free money," but no, it's not. It's free money for the Jaguars. The Jaguars is free money, but yeah, the Colts. I'll never know. Rondo will never know. Every fan in the stadium is not going to know. I don't even know if I lived in Jacksonville, if I would go to this game because I don't want to waste my money and seeing them lose. I don't know.
Well, some games you probably don't want to remember. 2020, Jackson's only win came against
Indianapolis Colts.
2021. Trying to think. That would have been Carson Wentz, right?
Yeah. That was the last game of the year.
Guess who beat you guess who knocked the Colts out of the playoffs?
Yep.
And that was a win and get in situation.
Yep, and I still haven't watched that last episode of Hard Knocks either, and I won't.
Yeah, same actually. Same.
I won't. Actually, the last 2 episodes, actually, I won't watch them because it was back-to-back losses to lose out. No.
And then 2022, the Colts put up a goose egg in Jacksonville.
Yep, that was pretty embarrassing. But then again, like, it's just a story of the season because they scored 0 points that game, and then they came back the next week and beat the Chiefs at home. So it's just something you just can't make up. You just can't make it up. I don't know how or why, but you just can't make it up.
What's going to be a key to this weekend's game? I mean, health aside, I mean, assuming Richardson.
Josh Downs. That's a key to me. The Colts are a much different team with Josh Downs, in my opinion. He makes a difference. He wasn't there week 1. The Colts were still a few plays away from beating the mighty Texans, but, Josh Downs, it seemed like he was wide open the entire game last game. And once he gets the ball in space, I mean, that kid's electric. So having him in the slot there because A.D. Mitchell from Texas is not ready. He's been getting a lot of targets, no receptions. Alec Pierce is a deep ball guy. Michael Pittman is him, but, Josh Downs is really that secondary receiving threat because, there's not really a tight end on the roster that helps in any way besides in the running game. So.
Yeah, so he went down. I'll go the other route. I'm saying it's number 11 and 28. I've said it. I said it last season, and I said it in our past episode. The offense goes as those 2 guys go. you know, and you need both of them hitting on cylinders if you want to win games. You know, we saw it last week. They both, you know, both got their numbers, both got their touches, whatever, and obviously led to a victory. And then really, if you look at the scoreboard in a game that was way wider, that had a wider variety than what the final scoreboard says. Like we go as 11-28 go. You know, we saw it last year in the one game that Pittman missed, and then we saw it. We saw a part of last year also without Taylor. But yeah, 11-28 are kind of the keys to the offense. Defensively, it's just about obviously not letting another put high potential offense on the other side tearing us up. You know, we've seen it early on that our defense has been very open, susceptible to the run game. Travis Etienne's a very good running back on the other side of the ball. It's all about containing him, not letting him hurt us.
I'm glad you mentioned Travis Etienne because I know Travis Etienne fantasy owners are wondering, where have you been? You know, he was in the doghouse against the Texans for part of last week's game. I think this is a big bounce back opportunity for Etienne and for the Jags. Will the real Trevor Lawrence show up? I don't want you completing 50-55% of passes. Get back to complete 65. If Jared Goff could go 18 of 18, if I want to see Trevor Lawrence go 20 of 25 for 280. He doesn't have to throw for one, but I want to see a more consistent Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, I mean, like again, I haven't watched much of the Jaguars. Obviously, I've been kind of sort of scoreboard watching, but obviously, really, I mean, without quarterback play, you're not winning most games. I mean, you kind of saw that catch up to a lot of teams this past week in the NFL. Your quarterback play, it doesn't matter who you are, is really important to the success of your team. So obviously, you know, Trevor Lawrence is obviously like by default, you know, as an opposer, you have to obviously contain him. You know, if he tears you up, you're most likely going to lose. That's you can say that about almost any team in the league. But we've seen it. You know, like how we mentioned, you know, we lost Malik Willis. You know, Justin Fields, on paper anyways, had a decent game. Obviously, we did sack him 4 times. He was under duress a lot of times, but, you know, he still got in the end zone a few times. He still led some scoring drives. So the key thing for us, and we've seen it, is playing 4 full quarters of football, because the Colts have this annoying habit of either coming out in the first half or coming out in the second half, but never consistently. So.
All right, so thanks for hopping on, Rondo, and check out the First and 56 podcast. How often do you guys record?
Yeah, we usually post about 2 shows a week. Usually, you know, Monday is the review, Thursday, Friday, depending on it'll be the preview, depending on the opponent, obviously. But you can catch us on YouTube at Sideline Sports, X at First 56, and then obviously Spotify, Buzzsprout, iTunes, Stitcher, anywhere and ever listen to your podcast, you know, First 56, catch us on there. Also, we do have a Facebook page, First 56, as the name states. You can find us there as well. Like I said, typically, though, every Monday and Friday. And if for whatever reason we missed, shoot us a DM and tell us to get on the ball. We love responding to you guys in DMs also.
And you can also check me out, Big D Podcast, Funky Struck and Sports. So thanks for tuning in, and hopefully both our quarterbacks are healthy, ready to rumble, and we get a 45-42 classic.
Hey, my fantasy team would love that, but I mean, hey, we'll see.